Hello and welcome to Dad Got This, where we answer the tough questions like, can I make one of my family's favorite fish dishes that I normally make inside on the Ninja Woodfire completely? And what do you call a fish who's missing an eye? That's easy. Fish. Today we are making a dish that I just made up on the fly called Rustic Italian Red Snapper. It's a dish I made for my family. They absolutely loved it. I made it inside on the stove in a pan, but I wanted to see if I could make it maybe better outside using the Ninja Woodfire. So let's get to it. Not a lot of prep involved in this. Get yourself a cup of cherry tomatoes and just cut them in half. We want some fresh garlic, 4 to 6 nice big cloves. All we need to do is smash them and peel them. And some fresh parsley. You gotta use fresh, it's the only way to make this work. Any of these really thick stems you wanna get rid of. The little ones, don't worry too much about. Just give this a nice rough chop. It's time to set up our wood fire. I'm gonna be using some Kona Premium Blend pellets. These are great. You can get them in multi-variety packs. I'll throw a link down in the description below. Fill your hopper up all the way to the top. Then, give it the dad shake. The dad shake either compacts the pellets and makes them burn better, separates the pellets and gives them lots of air and makes them burn better, or it does absolutely nothing. I still do it every time. Now, we're gonna go put this in the wood fire. For this cook, we are gonna be using the air crisp setting. We're gonna set it to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. We're gonna set it for 12 minutes.
You're gonna also wanna make sure that you have your griddle and your air fry basket inside the wood fire.
Now, let's prep our fish. What I have here are 2 really nice red snapper fillets. Red snapper is a nice white fish. It's nice and flaky. The skin has already been descaled. It's ready to go. We can actually probably even eat this skin if it comes out crispy. Let's hope. For prep, really simple. We've got some olive oil. This happens to be basil olive oil that I make by infusing our garden's basil into the olive oil. You just simmer it in the olive oil for a little while, strain out your basil, wonderful flavor. But you can just use regular olive oil. We can use olive oil because at 375, it's not too hot where it's gonna be a problem. We're just gonna rub this on our fish. We'll get it on both sides. This is gonna do 2 things. It's gonna help our spices stick, and it's gonna also help it crisp up when it's in the air fryer. Wood fire, air crisp, you know what I mean. For seasoning, we're gonna start with what I call go. 50% granulated garlic, 50% granulated onion. Go. This is Italian seasoning. In here, we've got oregano, marjoram, thyme, basil, and parsley. Good old-fashioned sea salt. Cracked black pepper. We started skin side down because meat side is our presentation side, so that's what we want to season last. And we're gonna hit it with the exact same seasoning. That's it. We just wait for the wood fire. The wood fire's ready. Let's get these in.
Open up the wood fire and place your fish on the left side of the basket, leaving room for the tomatoes and the garlic and all the kind of good stuff that we're gonna stick in there.
You noticed I put the tomatoes and the garlic in there with it. I want them to pick up some of that smoky, nice flavor while we're cooking the fish. I'm gonna check that fish in about 6 minutes because I don't want it to go over between 130 and 145 Fahrenheit or Celsius, so we get a perfectly cooked fish.
About 10 minutes later, and my fish was absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and set it aside for a second.
Like I said, I normally make this in a pan so I can make a nice pan sauce, but I wanted to make it out here. So how do I make a pan sauce on the Ninja without a pan? We're gonna turn the wood fire onto grill high. Sometimes it skips the preheat cycle. If yours does that, just let it sit for about 10 minutes. We want a really nice hot griddle. The grill's hot. Let's add our tomatoes, our garlic, and 3 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna saute this and move it around and try to keep the butter from coming off of the griddle. Once we've got a nice little bit of color and everything seems to have mixed well together, we're gonna put in probably about a half a can of unrinsed capers. That unrinsed is gonna add a salty and acidic flavor to our quote-unquote sauce. Let's splash it with about 3 tablespoons of sherry cooking wine. The very last thing we wanna do right before everything is done cooking, we're gonna sprinkle in about 3/4 of all of that parsley that we chopped up, just to kind of give it some color, get it worked in there. We don't want it too soft, but we don't want it just straight raw parsley. Keeping all of these juices and everything together and coming off is a little bit difficult, but you can get it done. We're gonna now transfer that all to a plate on top of our fish, and we should be ready to go. That worked out a lot better than I expected it to. Wasn't that hard. Ninja, can you guys do me a favor? Can you create an insert that either has a little pan section that you could pull out easily, or at least is a pan? That way I can make pan sauces right in my Ninja without having to do all that craziness. Here's the idea. There's a griddle. There's a little section for the griddle that has an indent that you can put a pan in, that you can lift the pan in and out without having to worry about scratching your griddle. Because I could just put a pan on my griddle, but I'm afraid that the metal pan would scratch trying to do everything. Ninja, make that. I'll buy it.
Nothing left to do but plate up. Grab a nice thick chunk of your fish, stick it on your plate, and now grab that lovely mixture we made on the wood fire and pour it all on top. Get a nice little pile. Looks good. Don't forget to pour some extra juice on there, and you're good to go. Garnish it with a little bit of extra parsley if you like, and that's a nice looking dish.
And there you have Dad's rustic red Italian snapper with tomatoes and garlic and capers. Maybe there's a better name for that. Maybe you guys can name this dish for me. Leave your best dish name in the comments. I'll pick a winner and I'll figure out a prize. I'll get you guys something. But for now, let's try our food. The fish is perfectly cooked. Oh, that's good. That is really good. You get a light hint of smoke. You get that freshness from the acidity of the tomatoes and the capers. That garlic comes through beautifully. It's got butter. What else could you want? That is delicious. You can adjust your salt level. That might need a little bit of extra salt for me, but very good. Please do the likey subscribe stuff. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. And if you guys could subscribe, I would really appreciate that. Like 90% of you guys who watch these videos don't subscribe. It's one little button and it would really help me out. I would appreciate it. If you'd really like to help me out, consider becoming a member. Members get updates, they get early access to videos, they get shout outs, they get producer credits, all kinds of fun stuff. Information is in the description below. Thank you to each and every one of you who is a member. So I guess that answers the question if I can make this dish on the wood fire. I can. And that's only gonna leave one question left to answer. What kind of fish are the best singers? Tune a fish. Yeah, pretty bad. Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, make fantastic fish dishes on the Ninja Woodfire, but one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This episode of Dad Got This was brought to you by our producers. Thank you very much.